In my research about the Mothman, I made an eerie and unsettling connection. One of the recurring symptoms that accompany Mothman sightings is the feeling of indescribable fear and dread, confusion mixed with the feeling of grappling with the reality of the impossible creature. It reminded me of the uncanny valley effect, which made me wonder, what exactly is the Mothman? Mothman was sighted by over 100 people in the Ohio Valley between November 16, 1966 to December 15, 1967, primarily near Point Pleasant, West Virginia. All of the people who witnessed the bizarre creature described similar features and behaviors. Mothman was described as humanoid in stature, gray, around 7 feet tall, with a wingspan of at least 10 feet. And one of the most remarkable characteristics was its huge, glowing red eyes. The details of its face were always difficult to discern. Those who witnessed the Mothman tried to rationalize what they saw in any way they possibly could, but all of the sightings were accompanied by a deep sense of pure, unadulterated terror. The first known encounter with Mothman was on November 15, 1966, when two couples were driving near an abandoned TNT manufacturing facility that had been established during World War II. By 1966, it was mostly a hangout spot for local teens. The car was driven by a man named Roger Scarberry, and in tow were his wife Linda and their two friends Steve and Mary Mallett. As they drove past the TNT factory, two large, glowing red orbs appeared in the headlights, and they could make out what appeared to be a figure that was at least 7 feet tall with wings folded behind its back. As the car approached the creature, it bolted upward, taking flight, but it didn't flap its wings. That's another thing that's mentioned in all of the sightings. The creature could fly incredibly fast, but it never flapped its wings. Another encounter with the Mothman was had by a resident of Point Pleasant named Connie Carpenter, who stated that as she drove home from church, the massive winged humanoid flew directly at her car, nearly causing her to crash. Many other people shared this experience, getting chased in their cars by the dark flying creature. There are a ton of stories about people witnessing the Mothman, and they all share the same details, including the fact that they hope to never see it again. These bizarre encounters along the Ohio River were also accompanied by UFO activity and strange men dressed in black clothing. The high strangeness surrounding Mothman deserves its own separate video, so let me know in the comments if you want a part 2. The Mothman sightings ended after December of 1967, when a terrible disaster shook the little city to its core. On December 15th, the Silver Bridge that crosses the Ohio River and connects Point Pleasant to Gallipolis, Ohio, collapsed during rush hour traffic, resulting in the deaths of 46 people. Point Pleasant is a small, close-knit community, and everyone in the area was directly impacted by this loss. The cause of the collapse was determined to be a failure of the suspension chains. After the disaster, Mothman sightings diminished, along with all the other bizarre activity. Many people theorize how Mothman could be connected to the collapse, but I'll let you decide. Mothman is a beloved part of West Virginia folklore, and one of the most amazing festivals is quickly approaching. September 21st is the start of the annual Mothman Festival in Point Pleasant, West Virginia, where people come together and celebrate one of the most beloved cryptids in Appalachia.